Hello students, as you know, history or geography is characterized by several types of dichotomies and dualisms. In the previous lecture, we have studied about very important dichotomy in geography, that is systematic geography versus regional geography. Today, we are going to discuss on another important dualism in geography, which is physical geography versus human geography. So let us see what are the characteristics of this dualism, that is physical geography versus human geography. Friends, the Greeks were probably the first who started this branching of the discipline, that is physical geography and human geography. Acacius gave more weightage to physical geography, while Herodotus and Strabo emphasized the human aspect. Dualism of physical versus human geography is still a characteristic of the discipline because the methodologies of these two are different. Physical geography deals with the study of natural phenomena or environment, including climatology, meteorology, hydrology, geology, oceanography, and landforms. So it is possible to use or to apply the methods of natural sciences and to draw conclusions of great accuracy in physical geography. Moreover, the methodology of physical geography is more objective in nature. Whereas, if you look at the content and methodology of human geography, it is found that human geography deals with the study of social and cultural phenomena. It is therefore difficult to use or to apply the methods of natural sciences in human geography. Human groups give different responses to their environment, and therefore the conclusions in human geography are less accurate and they are subjective in nature. Verenius, whose Geographica Generalis published in 1650, was the first scholar to suggest these essential differences in the characteristics of physical and human geography. At the beginning of 18th century, Immanuel Kant delivered lectures on physical geography at the University of Königsberg in Germany. He studied the deflection of wind direction resulting from Earth's rotation. After that, Alexander von Humboldt was also primarily interested in physical geography. On the other hand, Karl Ritter, the first professor of geography at the Berlin University, was more inclined towards human geography. Darwin gave more importance to physical aspects and stated that man has to fight against the physical factors for his survival. Under these circumstances, Mayer Somerville published Physical Geography in 1848. In the second half of the 19th century, geographers gave more importance to physical geography. They established geomorphology, the study of landforms, which later became more important field of physical geography. This term geomorphology was coined by Albert Penck, the German geographer. After doing extensive fieldwork, he formulated the principles of landform evolution and showed the way of the systematic study of the landforms. He stressed the importance of the relief maps in this systematic study of physical geography. After Penck, later on Köppen, W.M. Davis, Mill, Jefferson and Dokuchev put great emphasis on the study of landforms and climate. In all these studies, man, the important component of the environment, was ignored. It was during this period W.M. Davis put forward the idea of cycle of erosion. Ratzel and Semple also gave importance to the physical environment rather than human being and his intelligence. Miss Semple opined that man is the product of the earth's surface. Huntington, while writing about the development of civilizations, opined that the shift in their centers was due to the change in climate and weather. Mackinder, Chisholm and Herbertson also recognized physical geography as the main field of geography. Huxley wrote Physiography in 1877. Physical geography became very popular school subject in last decades of 19th century. The Soviet scientist also declared geography as a branch of science which deals with geomorphology, climatology, hydrology, meteorology and pedology. Like that of physical geography, there are many geographers who advocated the importance of human geography too. Ritter and Frederick Ratzel were among the first who considered man as an agent of an environment and who can bring changes in the landscape. Faber emphasizes the role of man in the nature as a modifying agent of the environment. He also argued that the same physical factors always do not produce the same effects. Vidal de Lablache founded the School of Human Geography. He gave a relatively less importance to physical environment and also pointed out the weaknesses of physical geography, and he was having deterministic approach. According to him, and he was against the deterministic approach. According to him, it is unreasonable to draw boundaries between natural and cultural phenomena. They should be regarded as united and inseparable. In an area of human occupants, nature changes significantly because of the presence of man, and the changes are greatest where the level of cultural development is highest. According to Lablache, it clearly shows the influence of man on nature. In America, Mark Jefferson brought the idea of central places and the primate city as well as the civilizing rails in the field of human and urban geography. The basic philosophy of the followers of human geography was to establish a man-nature mutual relationship in which these two are dependent on each other. All geographical studies are aimed to study the physical and cultural phenomena. But there are differences in the methodologies adopted. These differences in the approaches are essential as the content of every subject demand different methods of study. But they create the dichotomies such as physical versus human geography. Actually, these dichotomies are artificial and illogical. In brief, it can be said that geography cannot be divided into two groups such as physical geography and human geography. Actually, these two are just the two extremes of a continuum. Hartshorne argued that if we divide geography into physical and human phenomena, we make the rest of the work illogical. Faber also rightly that for geography to have any value, the rift between physical and human geography must be disappear.